By now, everyone who follows the news knows about Peyton Gendron. He was the self-proclaimed 18-year-old white supremacist that had driven to Buffalo, New York on May 14th, 2022 to kill people, preferably, of course, black people. He committed his crime as a mass shooter about a week before Salvador Ramos would kill 21 people in Texas at an elementary school. Gendron had an online diary. He described himself as socially isolated. Quote, "I would like to say I had quite a normal childhood, but that's not the case. It's not that I actually dislike other people. It's just that they make me feel so uncomfortable. I've already spent years of my life just being online, and to be honest, I regret it. I didn't go to friends' houses often or go to any parties or whatever. Every day after school, I would just go home, play games, and watch YouTube. I could go back. I would tell myself to get the fuck off and get a life." End quote. In other diary posts, he talked about suicide and mutilating cats. Gendron in 2021, almost a year ago, was threatening students at his high school. His teacher asked him what was his plans after the school year. He said he wanted to murder people and commit suicide. He was referred to a mental health hospital and released after being held a little over a day and a half. He would later tell police he was just joking and then write online pretty much that he fooled them. Gendron was frequent online in a racist hatred chat room on Discord. He also had an account on Twitch. Now, in the Discord chat room, there was 6 other people that he would speak to. One of those people are believed to be a retired federal agent from Texas. Law enforcement officers are investigating this. The enforcement officers has direct knowledge that Gendron invited them to read about his mass shooting plans 30 minutes before it actually occurred. The location was even pointed out to be Tops Supermarket on Jefferson Avenue in Buffalo, New York. The news hadn't determined if that retired agent accepted the invitation to see what was going to happen. However, we do know that he was in at least this type of chat room and communicating with these type of people. We also know that none of the 6 people called the FBI or even local law enforcement to let them know that something might be happening. But why would they? I mean, this is what they want. They are so unhappy in their lives that they love to turn on the news and see destruction like this. So the 6 people are currently being tracked down. The police say that this was a moral obligation to let the authorities know that something like this was about to happen. 15 people were able to see the live shootings of Gendron's killing people. Authorities are trying to track down Sandman, who counseled Gendron on a AR-15 semi-automatic rifles. They would talk about different guns and their qualities and stuff. Saint Sandman was quoted as saying, quote, "You have spent your whole life from the day you were born, right up to this moment, reading this sentence, coming to where you are right now. Look around you. You are content with your life right now. Are you where you want to be? Blah, 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 blah. Pray, lift, run, read, shoot, and teach your kids to do the same. End quote. So this is what this person filled with so much hate was telling Gendron to do. Gendron is reported to have written a 180-page manifesto describing himself as a white supremacist and ethno-nationalist, and he was motivated to commit political violence. He also spoke about white genocide. He had chosen Buffalo, New York, because it had the largest population of Black people closest to where he lived. I wonder had he went to the Bronx, where I lived. I wonder. He had also thought about carrying out his deadly plan at Walmart in Rochester, New York, churches, malls, and elementary schools with the most Black people attending. 13 people he had shot at. 11 were Black and 2 were white, all shot. 10 fatally. I don't know if I was pronouncing Gendron's name correctly. I don't care if I was. I honestly tried to avoid this story altogether. I honestly tried to avoid even the story with Salvador Ramos together. I avoid wanting to talk about it. Just because I don't talk about anything, it doesn't mean that I don't know that it exists or it didn't happen. But I really wanted to talk about this now because I really am interested in adding to my channel to talk a lot about mental illnesses. Because in fact, a lot of these cases come from mental illness. I had even read back that prejudice, racism is a mental illness. If you agree, I don't know. But the reason why I didn't look at any press or listen to anything, and I don't even know if I'm saying Gendron's name right, and normally I'll go and I'll Google the pronunciation to see if I'm saying things right, it's really because I don't care if I'm pronouncing his name right. I really just did this video because a lot of people probably or may have not followed the story. A lot of people were talking about the elementary school story out of Texas, and I was watching it, and it was awful. It really was. And I just decided the last minute to bring light to that. Well, 2 days after the shootings. And the only reason why I decided to do this is because I just wanted to say my condolences to the people that lost family and friends behind this. Aaron Salter, he was a former Buffalo police lieutenant, 55 years old. He was actually working as a security guard at that grocery store when he had confronted Gendron. Celestine Cheney, 65 years old. Roberta A. Drury, 32 years old. Andre McNeil, 53 years old. Catherine Massey, 72 years old. Marcus D. Morrison, 52 years old. Hayward Patterson, 67 years old. Geraldine Talley, 62 years old. Ruth Whitfield, 86 years old. Pearl Young, 77 years old. And 4 of those victims worked at that store. I will leave my comments open on this page. If it becomes to where I have what we call, the trolls that are trying to continue spewing, their racist hate, I will just take the comment page off. So if you're looking at this and you do see the comment page off, it's because, some idiot had said some stuff. And I personally, if any idiots are watching this, I personally am never affected by that because it's all virtual. As the children say, with my big age, I never had to endure any kind of racism, and I was born and raised between the Bronx and New Jersey, and I never had to encounter any of this. And I'm glad I never had. So I don't even entertain it. And I have friends of all races. And I say that a lot. And I grew up with these people. And I say that a lot. And I'm happy that I experienced that. So if you do see the comments off, unfortunately, somebody was having a bad day. Or should I say a bad life? But it is what it is, right? But again, my condolences to the people that lost someone. And it's so upsetting because we know that it's going to happen again, It's going to happen again.